This week on Mixed and Mastered, I'm talking with Kwasi Kessie, celebrity stylist, designer, brand consultant for Adidas Runners NYC, and captain of culture. Starting at Foot Locker, Kwasi went on to style the host of 106 in Park, along with ASAP, Ferg, and Noah Lyles for the Met Gala. He's the force behind the Kill Season clothing brand and Fit Check on Instagram. When he's not styling icons, he's running marathons and repping Harlem. This is Mixed and Mastered with Kwasi Kessie. Welcome to Mixed and Mastered, the podcast where the stories of the music industry come to life. I'm Jeffrey Sledge, bringing you real conversations with the people who have shaped the sound of music. We're pulling back the curtain on what it takes to make it in the music business. These are the stories you won't hear anywhere else, told by the people who live them. This is Mixed and Mastered. This week on Mixed and Mastered, Kwasi Kessie. How you, man?
Bless, man. I'm good. How's everything? It's been a minute.
I'm good, man. It's been a minute, man. It's been. I watched. We talk via social media, but it's a minute since we actually talked.
Absolutely. I was telling my friend right before this call, I'm like, yo, we go back. We go back.
We
We
go
go
back.
back.
We go back
Like,
quite a ways, man. We go quite a
yeah.
way. Let's get into it, man. So, born and raised in Harlem.
Yep.
When I was watching, I was researching this, and I was watching. Like, I didn't know. Where on Riverside Drive did you stay?
So I was on the 779 Riverside Drive, apartment 853, the fifth floor. So that's on 157th and Riverside. So technically that's
Oh, those
Washington.
buildings.
Yeah. That's like it was like a big there was a big plant pot, took up the whole street.
Yep.
So at 157th and Riverside, so it was like a cul-de-sac almost.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, technically it's Washington Heights.
Yeah.
Because anything above 155th is Washington Heights. So like that cemetery kind of was like the transition from Washington Heights to Harlem. But yeah, I grew up there up until around like 13 years old and moved to the Bronx. So I like to tell people I'm by borough. So Bronx and Harlem is where I resided all my life. Yep.
Yo, what's crazy is I lived in 730 Riverside.
Get out of
I
here.
was on the corner on 150 at 730 Riverside. When you said Riverside, I was like, what? You was right up the street, bro. I
Wow.
know exactly where you was at.
You was getting money. That's
No,
a fact.
nah,
Riverside
chill.
because Riverside honestly was like it was a different world compared to like
Mm-hmm.
Broadway, Amsterdam, Saint Nick. Like, you know what I mean? It was just like, especially when they built Riverbank, it just created a whole transition
Mm-hmm.
and just cleaned up the whole neighborhood. But Riverside was always very ethnically diverse,
Yep.
age diverse. It was
Mm-hmm.
just, it was really dope, really
Yeah,
dope.
the drive is different. Like you said, once you go right up the block to Broadway,
Right
it's
after
a
the
whole
blocks,
nother
Rocky.
planet.
Right,
I
right.
didn't realize we lived that close to each other. Like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I was right down this block. This whole
Yeah,
time
yeah,
I didn't know. We'll talk about the stories about the area offline.
yeah.
So I got to ask you this one question before we get deep into the interview.
For
You know I
sure.
got to ask this question. You ready?
Yeah.
Who got the best jollof rice?
Oh, Ghana. Ghana got there's no debate. We've won the Jollof Wars based in New York City that's traveling across the world. Shout out to my brother Abdul and his team. They put on a Jollof Wars. We've won the Jollof Wars in terms of the rice category 3 straight years or 4 straight years, or probably even more. But Ghana has the best Jollof because I think what it is Nigeria's Jollof is very smoky. It has like a
Okay.
smoky flavor to it, and Ghana is I feel a little bit more tomato based, and I think it's more palatable for like that American palate, and like that like, more diverse palates will gravitate more towards the Ghanaian. But Ghanaian jollof is elite. I'm actually going to my bro Chef Eric Ejapong. He has a spot in DC. I'm going there this weekend for Juneteenth just to go check out the jollof. So yeah,
Wow. It's up. It's up. It's up.
it's elite, yeah.
So tell me about your experience growing up in Harlem.
Oh man. Harlem is a magical place for me because my mom she's super black. Like she's like pro black, pro us, knowing the history, having the books, and then my sister
Mm-hmm.
grew into is pretty much a historian. So um, Harlem growing up was beautiful because it created a sense of pride within who I am as a person, and also a sense of a fashion sense. Just like Harlem was a place where you never wanted to look like everybody else. Like that wasn't even an option. It was like I
Mm-hmm.
want to be a little different. Like I might add a different shoestring to my kick, so I might get a go somewhere and get a different belt, but I never want to look like everybody else. I want to
Yeah.
stand out in my own way. I want to add my touch of flair. And I feel like that was important in my development because as kids, or young people, people just want to like group themselves together and look like the masses so they fit in. But Harlem was a place where you wanted to stand out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You wanted to peacock. You wanted to have
Mm-hmm.
this energy about yourself so that people could recognize you as, the fly one or the one, the risk taker or the jiggy guy or you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what I really appreciated and loved about Harlem growing up in Harlem. But it was magical, man. Just the people that I was able to up with, like the Fergs, the Belchezes, the Tiana Taylors. It was just like it was a melting pot of creativity, of fashion sense, of exploration, and everybody was just going for it. Like if you
Yeah.
danced, you really danced. If you got fly, you really got fly. If you got money, you really got money. Like
Mm-hmm.
everybody was taking it to the back. So
It was very extreme in
yeah,
whatever you
yeah.
did, but in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
It
yep.
was very
I think
extreme.
your voice is echoing.
Shoot, hold on a second.
Yep.
Oh, you got me?
I think. Oh, sorry.
You know, am I good?
Okay, okay. It's just
All
on
right,
my
cool.
end.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay. Okay, cool, cool,
All right.
cool. All right, cool. The funny thing about Harlem, you bring up Tiana Taylor, who I remember seeing around when she was a kid, you know, and a lot of people don't know Chris Brown spent a little time in Harlem. He lived in
Facts.
Harlem for like two. See, you don't know that. That's how come him and Tiana know each other. And used to live, I think he lived down by Minnesink or something like that. But he stayed in Harlem for a little bit as a kid, and that's how he really got his dance skills up and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. He was I feel like he was around like lower Harlem, like around Douglas, like 110th,
Oh,
108.
he was down that way. Okay.
Um Yep, yep. But he used to hang out with like Crybaby, who was like
Mm-hmm.
a dancer, who is a dancer, great dancer coming up. And I was actually working with Chris Brown early, under the guise of Mike B, my mentor, who
Mm-hmm.
brought me into the game. But yeah, yeah, Chris was in Harlem. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of talented people spend a little time in Harlem, get a little sauce, a little energy, a little vibration, you know what I'm
A
saying? Keep it
lot.
moving. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
One more thing about Harlem, and we're gonna move on. But the thing about Harlem that I love, what I used to do when I moved to Harlem in '92, and what I used to do on a Saturday, I would just walk Harlem. I would just
Mm.
walk up Broadway, go down 145th. I'd go to down 145th. I'd turn on like 8th or 7th, and I just walk in between the blocks. You know, the cookouts, the little block parties, whatever was going on, and that really like gave me. Then obviously to 125th, and then below that, and just walk around, and you really got a sense of Harlem even though because people get confused. Harlem is still it's a neighborhood. It's not a borough. You know what I'm saying? People always kind of it's like Brooklyn. No, it's a neighborhood, and all this amazing, like you say, creativity and amazingly talented people come from this like basically like 45 block neighborhood.
Yeah, like
So me and Mickey always argue about this. Do you cut Harlem off at 45th or 55th?
55th, 55th.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's cut off at 55th, and then it turns into Washington Heights.
To the
Like
Heights,
that,
yeah.
yeah, that where all those churches are and the
Mm-hmm.
highway,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of like separates
Yeah.
Harlem. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about how you got into where'd you get your sense of style and where'd you get your style bug from?
Wow. So my sense of style starts at home. It started actually from my mom. My mom, I think, among her siblings was called like the bougie, the bougie sister.
Okay.
So she was shop for myself and my sister at like Lord and Taylor, A&S. I remember growing up, shopping was like an event for us. It was like, we going to school or we
Going-
just
Yeah.
Macy's, wherever.
Yeah, you're going downtown. It's a big
It
deal.
was it was a big deal, you know what I mean? And my mother took pride in the way that we looked. I guess because we were a representation of her.
Hmm.
So we always had like great pieces. I look at pictures of my sister and myself growing up, and my sister had as like a young person had a leather red skirt and like just crazy pieces. I'm like, yo, that's like we would fly. But it really graduated when I went to when I was going to church and I would wear suits. So all the women would say how cute I was, and I thought it was the clothes that made me cute. So I
Mm.
told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I want to wear suits to school. So I was in pre-K kindergarten wearing full two-piece suits to school, and everybody else was
What the
dressed.
kids saying?
I don't even think I don't remember how they what they used to say. I don't remember that much, but I remember feeling very like confident and prestigious in my suits. I stood out. That's going
Yeah,
back to
yeah,
Harlem. I stood
yeah,
out. So,
yeah.
and the reason why my mom took so much pride in the way that we dress, because my mom is an older mom. She just turned 80 in March.
God bless her.
So,
God bless her.
but yeah, she said her like her uncles, they only wore suits like that. She was like farmers wore jeans and overalls, and nobody ever wore sneakers because that was only for gym class. Like even Dapper
Hmm.
Dan talks about that, and they from the
Hmm.
same age and same era.
Hmm.
And she grew up in Harlem as well, Harlem in the Bronx. So she kind of instilled that in us as kids, and she didn't even know it. So then, as I matured and started like really like dressing, I remember I was in elementary school wearing suede jackets with matching Tims. My mother
Wow.
was actually doing that too. Yeah, I would have on a wheat suede jacket with wheat Tims in elementary school in the early 80s, 90s. So like that's how I was pulling up. And then it's like that graduated into high school, and then I had like a love of sneakers, but it started at home with my mom, and then Harlem had that influence of wanting to stand out and be fly, and that competition that happens within neighborhoods where you want to be the fly one. And also my sister, I got to give credit to my sister Mariam Musaho. She really made me want to be like different. She would always tell me like, don't look like everybody else. You got to separate
Mm.
yourself from everybody else. So again, it's that constant conversation of looking different. And my sister's 4 years older than me, and she would
Okay.
venture off to like Soho. She was in a village. She was going to Newport Mall in Jersey to get no tax. So me being a younger brother tagging along, my mother saying, "Yo, go with your sister." I'm going to Soho, so I'm seeing the Misa Hiltons. I'm seeing the Little Kims. I'm going to 8th Street where guys is in the Benzes, and they, what I'm saying, we going to the Atrium. We shopping at that there was like an African store on 8th Street. There's like UFO, Rugged Soul. So my world was so much bigger than Harlem because of my sister. And she opened me up to those experiences. And then when I would come to high school, I would have pieces. They'd be like, "Yo, where you getting these colorways of sneakers?" I'm like, "Yo, I go to Jersey, Newport Mall, Foot Action. They didn't have a Foot Action in the city. Oh, I'm going to Atrium to go, and
Yeah,
this is when Atrium sold Mecca and
yeah,
Iceberg and
yeah,
Nietzsche. You know what
yep,
I'm saying? So
yep,
like,
yep.
I gotta credit my mom and my sister for really instilling that fashion bug in me, and growing up in Harlem, and then just creating that energy of like flyness and jigginess.
Yeah, yeah. Atrium was a legendary spot. Now, for
Um,
those who know now, Atrium is Kiss.
right, right,
But
yeah.
Atrium was like Atrium on a Saturday. Oh, I said this on another show. I think I was talking to Terrell Jones. I interviewed him too, and I said I hope somebody was filming Soho on Saturdays back then, because the people that are now running fashion, like the Virgils and like you said, and the Tianas and the Misas and even the Telfairs, that's who the kids were walking around Harlem back. They were just, excuse me, Soho back then. They were just walking
That's a
around on a
fact.
Saturday. And now these kids they become men like yourself. They've grown up, and now they have really taken control of the fashion industry. It's a beautiful thing to see, like that little from what that turned into, from just being on a Saturday and everybody just walking around, tons of kids just walking around styling, I got the Rick Owens or whatever, now
It
to
was
like it's
it
crazy.
was crazy. It was like it's still it's what's ironic is it still has the energy. Like I feel like in terms of fashion, that's still the fashion capital of New York City. Like
Yes.
even it's so much in fact that the fashion houses have moved down there. First starting with
Yep.
Prada and Louis and Gucci, like
Mark
everybody,
Jacobs is down
Celine,
there.
Marc Jacobs. Yeah, so it's like, it still has the energy that you walk down there, you're gonna see like the flyest people, you're gonna see celebrities, you know what I mean? But back in the days, that shit was It was remarkable, man. It was, and I was a teenager going down there rocking. You know, these are young adults, and seeing the stylists and seeing the celebrities, and like even the people that worked in the stores were like semi celebrities because they were helping all of these people. It was,
Hmm.
and then that was also the boom of the sneaker era. So you had all of these crazy sneaker stores. You had Nort, Recon, Classic Kicks, Clientele, A
Clientele.
Life.
Yeah, he
You
like,
had like it was Dave's Quality Me.
yep.
You had a time was had.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful time.
What a time to be alive. So tell
Yes,
me about
sir.
I know your first kind of foray into styling was through Mike B, who've already mentioned,
Yes, sir.
who was at that time styling all the stuff through Bad Boy.
Yep.
And so tell me how y'all linked up and how you got into styling, because when I interviewed Terrell, I said this too. Like, people kind of don't. I think people more now maybe, but people still don't quite really know what stylists do. They kind of say I'm a stylist, but like, you don't. Do you really know what that is and what that entails? And so, but go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to my brother Terrell, Harlem legend,
Legend.
killing in the fashion game. I actually got into styling through Mike B, as you said, and I was working at Foot Locker. Again, my love of sneakers brought me to working at Foot Locker on 34th Street, the corporate headquarters, the big dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working there and I see Mike. He got on these Coach leather LeBrons, the high school colorway, the green with the tan, and I'm like, he had them early, and I'm like, yo, who is this guy? Because I know my sneakers. He had them like it was like at least 6 to 3 months earlier than they were supposed to come out, and I was like, so I channeled my mom. My mom is a talker, and I wasn't really a talker at that time, so I channeled my mom. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna talk to this guy and see what he does. So I talked to Mike B. I'm like, yo, he's like, yo, I'm shopping. I'm shopping for some bad boy artists. I'm like, yo, what you do? He's like, yo, I'm a stylist. At that time, I didn't understand that verbiage. Like, I didn't even know what that really meant. But I knew it had something to do with fashion and sneakers, so I was with it. So he's like, yeah, I'm doing some shopping. I'm like, yo, they got more sneakers in Soho. He was like, yo, can you show me? And I'm like, hell yeah, I can show you. I got the stripes on, full out the stripes. I
The
talked to my
uniform. Yeah.
yeah, I talked to my manager Maria. It was a dead day. It was dead. I'm like, yo, she knew who he was. I was like, yo, can I leave with Mike to show him some sneakers downtown? She was like, yeah. Now this is real life. So I leave with Mike V. We go downtown. We do some shopping. I think we went to Clientele on Lafayette. It was on the
Mm-hmm.
corner of Lafayette, like, and get him some sneakers. They didn't have the sneakers in it that I got for his artist in that size. It was the Air Max 95 Greece Olympic colorway. They're actually about to come out back out this year. They're like a rainbow colorway. And he was like, damn, I need a 13. So he was going to Miami to style a video. That's what he was shopping for. And I was like, yo, when you get back, I'm going to have you a size 13 because this is what I do. I'm a sneaker guy. So
Mm-hmm.
he comes back. I got the 13. He gives me the money for the sneaker, but he tries to give me like an extra $50. And I'm like, nah, I don't want your money. I want like, an opportunity. I want an internship, assistant, something. He's like, yo, I got you. So I'm on the phone. He gives me his number, and then I'm on the phone just hitting him day and night for like a month, literally. No response. So eventually I run into my one of my OGs at Harlem, Mo, and he's like, yo, I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get this internship at Bad Boy. And he's like, yo, who you trying to intern for? I'm like, Mike B. He's like, Mike B. He calls him instantly right there in my face, like, "Do-do-do-do." Calls him. He's like, yo, give my little man an opportunity, man. He a good kid, we'll do. And I'm like, and then the next day I get a call. I'm at Bad Boy interning, like literally, it was like overnight.
Wow.
But that was my introduction into styling. It was through my knowledge of sneakers. I like to tell like young people like try and figure out what your superpower is. At that time, my superpower was like sneakers. I was working at Foot Locker. At the time, I wasn't creating my sneaker magazine yet, but I knew about sneakers, and because I knew about sneakers, I saw he had on the high school Coach leather LeBrons. I knew he was somebody. I knew he had them early. I got to tap in.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's how I got into styling, and then I was interning in for Mike, and then it turned into an assistant role, and then we became the fashion stylist, men's fashion stylist at BET. And through that time, we had worked with Chris Brown, as you know. We worked with it was like Neo, Ludacris, fucking Jamie Foxx.
You did Bow Wow, of course, because he was on
Wow,
set.
wow, yeah, yeah, yeah. But that was me. That was me solo. I eventually, during that BT time, I eventually became the men's fashion stylist, and I started working with Terrence J, Bow Wow. I started working with Ferg, and the list goes on and on. But yeah, that those early days was wild. Those Chris Brown budgets was
Yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Jai was giving out some money. So
They
wait,
was
wait.
giving out
Before we
some
move
money.
on, tell me. I always ask people, tell me without getting anybody in trouble or anything like that. Of
Yeah.
course, tell you could leave names out. Tell me one. I don't even like to say crazy. One spicy story about styling at Bad Boy.
Icy story about styling that bad boy. Be honest, I don't have. I don't have spicy stories because I'm really trying to think. Because I would just say this because Mike always was like he's so like morally sound and so
Mm,
like Jamaican, raised by like Jamaican parents, not
hmm
fucking around. So like he always made sure I was in like the best spaces possible for me to succeed. But I would say this like the hours would be crazy. So like I would be there at 7 in the morning, and sometimes I would leave at 3 in the night. And I'm an intern and getting $40 a week, and I would let my $40 stack up, so I get like 160, and I think I was balling. But yeah, it was. I was just for me, it was like a opportunity of a lifetime, like working with these incredibly successful literally at the time like fashion icons. Like you had like Dow, you had Max, you had Mike B, you had Jamil Spencer. You had it was just like it was lit. So for me in my adolescent young mind, I was just like happy to be there. And over time, like I'm at the time I'm at one point I was at school full time at LIU. I'm working at Bloomingdale's part time night and weekend. I still have my job at Foot Locker because I didn't quit. I had worked there on the weekends
hmm
because I wanted my discount, and I'm interning at Bad Boy. So my schedule was crazy, but I was a college kid, so
Yeah,
I didn't, I wasn't tired or nothing. I was
he
just
was
going,
running.
yeah, because the opportunities were crazy. So, but yeah, I would just say that the schedule was crazy sometimes. Like from seven, I literally be there at 7 a.m. Have to I may leave if someone has to travel. Or maybe I may be leaving at 3 a.m. and I got to be back there at 7 a.m. You know what I mean? So it was, but yeah. But I don't have any like
Nothing
spicy
crazy.
stories. Yeah,
Okay,
nothing
it's all good.
crazy.
It's all good. So
Yeah, yeah.
tell me about the beat.
Oh, the BT experience was incredible. I got to give a huge shout out to Texana Watts. She was the BT wardrobe supervisor, and it was like working with family. Like literally,
Mm,
like imagine you come to work and it's like you got your aunt, you got your cousins, y'all just literally like it was even from like outside of the wardrobe department, that was one thing, but like even like the on set team, everybody was like family. It was
mm,
beautiful. So yeah, it was a great time. What it taught me was to be always be super prepared because live television. Sometimes we would shoot 3 shows in a day and one would be live, but live television, somebody may spill something, something may get ripped. And what I remember most is running up and down because the wardrobe department for some reason was on the third floor, and the set was on the first floor. So I remember running
mm.
up and downstairs, getting stuff, lint rollers, and but it's just like being prepared and being ready for whatever happens. But it was a beautiful time. Texana Watts was an amazing boss, leader, queen. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was one of my favorite jobs that I've ever. One of my favorite and few jobs that I've ever had. Like it was so dope. Everybody from like the top all the way down from Stephen Hill to Connie to Rick Grimes. Everybody was like really cool, really easygoing. Yeah, I loved it there. I loved it.
Did you work the BET Awards too at that time, or you just stayed
Hell
in New
yeah.
York?
BET Awards, we was flying to LA dressing. Remember at one point there were multiple hosts, so they would have a Bow Wow, Shorty the Prince,
Oh
and
yeah.
then but I was the men's wardrobe
Okay.
stylist. But yeah, we was BET Awards was crazy when they would do like the final show was wild, but for 106 because it was AJ, it was Big Tigger, it was Bow Wow, it was Terrence, Shorty the Prince. It was like I probably had like 15 talent that day. It was wild. And I also did like the news shows. So I would do the news shows. I would all of the like live programming from the network. I was responsible for dressing the male talent, which was really great. So I got like diversity from dressing men in suits to streetwear and
Yeah, everything.
everything in between. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
dope.
And we'll be right back. Ready to launch your podcast? Merrick Studios offers comprehensive services from concept development and seamless production to strategic marketing and monetization. Let your story take the mic. Visit merrickcreative.com/studios and let's get to work.
Master the art of lyricism with Pendulum Mink, the first school for rap. Learn elite techniques through immersive lessons, real-world exercises, and guidance from hip-hop icons. This is where MCs sharpen their skills and glow boldly on the mic. Ready to level up? Visit pendulummink.com and start your journey today.
And now, back to our show.
And then is this around the time you started the Laced magazine?
Yeah, this is around the
This is
time.
the time we
So
met.
yeah.
The
So
magazine started.
actually, so I started interning at Bad Boy, and then I started while I was interning at Bad Boy, I started at Lace Magazine. So that was like 04 ish. Yep.
So tell us a little bit about Laced magazine.
Oh man, Lace Magazine, keeping you laced from the ground up was a sneaker. It was a sneaker publication that myself and Stephen Othello
Yep.
created, and it
Steve
was
fucking Brown.
yeah, it was again that was a community effort, right? We had like Saint as a writer, we had Size as a contributor, we had guest photographers, and this was all friends and family. We had like not Kim on marketing. It was just like we all came together to create this publication, but pretty much we wanted to document sneaker culture through our lens. Because at the time, only like Complex was like really known for it at the time. And then we had like, we had like Frank 151, we had Sneaker Freaker, but none of it really spoke to like our culture and how we saw it, and how we used to hit like the village Soho stores, and we would dig into these local spots and go to their basements. But yeah, we had some crazy covers. We had Chris Brown eating kicks out of a see-through kick. He had and that was so the whole idea was like I would use my fashion connects, like working with Chris Brown, working with different artists and get him on the cover. And then Steve, at the time, he was interning at Smooth Magazine. So he was able to work on like the magazine portion, the layout, the whole editorial side. So I was bringing like the fashion and the talent, and he was bringing the editorial and the magazine know-how. We had Swizz Beats when he had, people don't know that he had a collaboration with Heads. That was our first cover. We shot him at his studio. We actually had the clips on the cover. We had Fire and Ice, so we had the clips and we had the ice cream skate team. And the clips article that Saint so geniusly he interviewed the clips, that started the Lil Wayne beef. If you Google it,
Really?
the clips article in Laced Magazine, the cover story, started the Lil Wayne beef. If you Google it, Complex even cites Laced Magazine as like the source from that interview that Saint did. Shout out to Saint, my brother Saint. He
Yeah, of course.
that started the clips beef. But yeah, it was a great time. We had Tiana on the cover, we had Ferg on the cover, our last covers. But yeah, it was documenting sneaker culture through the lens of like real sneaker enthusiasts in New York City. We had like girl editors, we had sneaker store write ups. Like we were just trying to put people onto our culture. So it was dope, super dope.
So where did you go after you left BT?
After BT, I went on my own. So I just became a freelance stylist.
Okay.
So that's when I started working with Ferg. The crazy story with Ferg is that so he had a shoot in LA, and he had a shoot with Big Sean for his video The World Is Mine. So I was knowing Ferg, since Harlem. Like we was
Yeah.
just coming up together, fly dudes, different. We had different crews. I had GFC, he had Harlem Envy, and we
Yeah.
had our own jackets. He had his own varsity jacket. We had our own varsity jacket. We would see each other at car show, like, and it
Yeah.
was always love.
And for
So
those who don't know,
Ferg,
Ferg, his father was named D. Ferg. He passed away sadly, and he's the one who designed the Bad Boy logo,
yeah, Bad
among
Boy
other
logo,
things. Among
yeah,
other things. Yeah.
Uptown Records logo,
Yep.
and
Uptown Records. Yep.
yeah, he's a Harlem legend for sure.
Absolutely a legend.
Yeah. So Ferg, when I was, I had a roommate in Harlem, and when Ferg first got signed, he would hit me up like, "Yo, I got a video coming up. Can I get some stuff?" Because I always had all this access because I'm an assistant stylist, so I got mad stuff in my house. So sometimes I wouldn't be there, and I'd be like, "Yo, just hit my roommate. He'll let you in, and you can take whatever you want." So he was like, pulling pieces from my closet to, supplement things that he needed for video shoots. Early on, budgets. I mean, artists, they don't have like these crazy budgets.
Mm-hmm.
So then we had the opportunity to tap in with me. You know what I mean? He tapped in. We fly to LA. The budget, I believe the budget all in was like 3,500, right? And
Wow.
shout out to my brother Nakim. Nakim was like managing me, right? And he's like, "Yo, you gotta go." And I'm like, "Word, this ain't not enough money to go. We can't fly, get a rental." Cause I feel like it was like in not Calabasas, but it was like in the hills or something, the video shoot. And I'm like, damn. But he was like, "Nah, trust me, just go." So I pull out all the stops. Like he got Gucci, he got all this crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I get out there, we lay out his looks, and he was like, "Yo, I didn't think y'all was gonna come," because he knew his budget, like you know what top it is. He was like, "I didn't think y'all was gonna come." Like that was crazy. So he was really impressed with the effort that we put forth. And from then on, we just been thick as thieves. Like we've been locked in. And that was a long. I don't know what year that was, but that was around the time that I stopped working at BET. So
So
that was like my
Ferg was your first client as
yeah my
an
first
independent art, as an style.
Yeah, that was my first major like client with like, record budgets and, doing a lot of videos, making appearances and stuff. And the great thing about Ferg is that he's you don't necessarily style him, you collaborate with him. You collaborate with Ferg. Like he already has a vision for himself. He's a flashy, Harlem to the bone type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he got the vision. It's like adding or subtracting or giving suggestions. You know what I mean? So I just love collaborating with him because it's just a great opportunity to create, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, in certain
yeah.
spaces. But yeah, that was my first client post BT. And I just thank him for like trusting in me and believing in me, you know what I mean? Because I definitely believed in him.
So who was next after Ferg? Who'd you start styling after? Who was the next client?
Who was next after Ferg? You know what's crazy? After that, it just got like super crazy. Like I worked with like P&B Rock, God bless the dead. I've worked with like I just got to look at my website. So many like different artists, a lot of like new artists, because you know how it is in the record industry system. Like I feel like they look at you and they be like, "All right, I feel like you could work with this person or you could work with that person." And I had like a blend of like street sense mixed with like high end sensibility. But it was a lot of artists that I've worked with that I've touched in terms of like the fashion space. But the one consistent one that we always like continue to work with each other is Ferg for
It's
sure.
Ferg. Yeah, Ferg's a loyal guy too. Like if he rock with you, he rocking with you regardless.
Oh, dude,
He could be figuring it out, or he could have a $10 million budget and he gonna work with you.
that's a fact. That's a
Yeah, he's a
fact.
very loyal cat. Tell me about because I never really asked you this. Tell me how you got into running and
Mhm.
the Adidas fit thing and all this stuff you're doing with them, because I never really have asked you about that. I just see you doing it, and I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. So again, I gotta show love to mom. When I was younger, we were growing up in Riverside, and she decided she wanted to run a New York City Marathon.
Okay.
This is the East. This is late '80s. On Riverside, that joint was like it was drug infested.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't scary, but it wasn't like at night. It wasn't the safest place because it was so desolate that stuff would go
Yeah.
down back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It wasn't really
Um,
lit up too much back
it
then. It was
right
very dark.
until the state park came.
Yeah.
So
Till Riverbank came. Yeah.
yeah, so me being the man of the house, quote unquote, my mom would come home from work, she would change and she would go train. And then I would be like, I'm going with you. So I'd take my scooter, I'd take a bike, and I would always go with her. So I saw the whole process of her training for the New York City Marathon. And I was like, one day I'm gonna do it. Because if mom could do it, I'm gonna do it. So um, this I was just turning 30, and I was like low key going through like like a midlife crisis. I had just stopped working at BT, but 106 in Park had stopped, and I was just going through like this transition period in my life, and I was like, I'm gonna start running. I remember I couldn't run a mile. I was like, damn, I can't run a mile. This is gonna be. I gotta do 26.2 of these. This is gonna be tough. And then next thing you know it. I'm running 10 miles in Central Park with no water in the middle of the heat, and I'm just high off life because I did it, not knowing any better. So um, that was happening, and then during this whole time, I'm in communications with Adidas because I'm hitting them up like, do y'all mind sending me? I'm training for the New York City Marathon. Is it possible to send me some marathon gear? They're like, absolutely. So they send me stuff,
Wow.
and they just see how dedicated I am. And this is all because of my connections that I created as an intern with Mike B. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
continuing the conversation,
Mhm.
taking those relationships and continuing to work with new artists, etc. So eventually they hit me up. They're like, yo, we starting this new thing in New York called Adidas Runners NYC. Would you like to be a part of it? And I'm like, absolutely. So y'all gonna pay me to run? I'm like, absolutely. Y'all gonna pay me to show my community like something healthy? Absolutely. So I was 100% with it. And yeah, and it was a beautiful thing. Like I had my own sneaker, Kwasi Kessie, AM4 Kwasi Kessie in 2024.
I need if
Um,
anymore. I need a 10, B.
yeah, I got you. There's a few floating around, but
Thank you. Thank you.
I got you. But it was like I had billboards on the side of highways in Harlem on Harlem River
And I
Drive.
saw. I saw. I saw. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
was there.
like it was just it's been a beautiful thing. But it started from my mom just getting into running, and then it's also started from styling again from
Yeah.
my relationship that I continue to create. Um, Shout out to Mike B. Just I remember one day I was at interning and he was like, "Yo, I want you." I think we were styling like a loon video, and he needed shell toes, and I reached out to Adidas. But that was like my earliest memory of me reaching out to Adidas and them being like, okay, we'll send you XYZ. But I continued like from different people in marketing there, I
Mm-hmm.
continued the relationship. So when it was like
Smart.
my turn, they were like, oh no, we know you, we got you. And then it
Yeah.
just blossomed from there. And
Yeah.
I went from captain just a captain to Harlem captain to captain of culture and experience to an Adidas ambassador. So
That's
yeah, it's
crazy.
been yeah. Oh, and my biggest proudest moment outside of having my own sneaker as a sneaker enthusiast was we redid the court. I mean the court. We redid a court actually. We did the Black Gates and Kingdom with Belchez as a
Okay.
collaboration
Okay.
in the hood, but we also redid the track in Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson projects.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it's right. So by my high school, we redid my high school track. It's a 200 meter, and we redid it with like the State Department. We did a whole ceremony. We had a run, and then it was right before COVID. So like the community was super hyped because it would
Uh-huh.
look crazy before. So we redid it right before COVID, and then like when COVID happened, the most thing that people could do was like run. So it was a beautiful thing that we was able to do that right before COVID. Ferg performed. It was crazy. I hired all the like the local like the icy person. I hired the
Yeah.
I mean Reg with the juices.
Yeah.
I hired the you know what I'm saying? Like I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
activating the community. Like
Community. Absolutely.
right. But that was probably my one of my proudest moments with working with Adidas. That was really dope.
That's amazing. Another Harlem thing that a lot of people from that area might not know is there is like a small fitness kind of thing. Like people come out every year because the marathon actually, the New York State Marathon, runs right through Harlem, and people come out there every year with the signs and cheering people on. Like it's a, you know, it's a thing. You know, what I'm saying
Oh
it's a
yeah.
small thing, but it's a thing. So the fact that you were able to do that and give back to the community, and help people with running and stuff like that, and probably give out gear and stuff. That's amazing, bro.
Oh
That's
yeah.
incredible,
For
man.
sure. Like the thing about it is like just like I saw my mom, people have seen me.
Yeah.
And it's like my peers have told me like, yo, I started running because I'm like, word? Like my peers, I wouldn't even think I would be like a younger person, but they're like, nah, like you inspired me because you showed you made it look like it was possible. Like you didn't make it look like too difficult. Like, oh nah, it's easy. You could do it. You made it look cool. So I'm like, wow, I just like to always say, like, you never know who's watching. So like make sure you try to do something positive, you know what I mean? But yeah, that running is it's a huge part of the community. And actually we Ferg and I well Ferg is gonna be doing Ferg Flow, I think it's August 14th, Thursday, August 14th. So
Okay.
we're doing a 5K in the morning, and
Wow.
then we're doing sound bath meditation, then we're doing calisthenics, and we're gonna be doing and then it's gonna segue into a concert with Summer Stage, all at Marcus Garvey Park. So like yeah.
Wow.
So we
That's
we, we taking
fire.
that. that whole fitness initiative.
Yeah.
It's something for everybody. If you don't run, you could do a sound bath. If you don't run, you could do meditation. If you don't do calisthenics, you could do.
You watch the show.
Yeah, you can watch show. And we're gonna be doing like a bike ride out too, because he's heavy into BMX. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. It's
Yeah,
gonna be dope. Right, right.
yo, I'm trying to lose this, son. You know, all that.
Yeah, yeah.
You never know who's watching you. So that's dope that you're doing that, man. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like in our communities, like we gotta always make sure that we like showing up in spaces and doing the things that we just don't want to keep it to ourselves. We want to
Exactly.
show the world like yo, it's
Exactly.
possible. So
Tell
yeah,
me
it's
about
dope.
kill off season.
So kill off season. I got on the airbrush tee right here.
Fire, fire, fire. You stunting on me? Okay, I got you. I need one of those too.
I got you. I got you. So yeah, so kill off season is a brand I started with Stephen Otho and O'Brien. So the whole concept and energy behind it was, you know, we killing in the off season. That's what it stands for, killing the off season. So
Mm,
all of the greats from Muhammad Ali to Jordan, you hear about their off season regimen more than you hear about their on season regimen. You know what I'm saying?
true, true.
When Jordan went through what he went through with the Pistons, he came back. He was in that off season. He was lifting weights. He had to bulk up. So that's the whole idea behind the brand is like to really put focus on the off season so that you can show up as your best self in season. And we came together to create a price competitive and conscious leather pant. We wanted to
Yo,
like offer.
them pants is
Yeah,
fire, bro. Oh,
thank you, man, thank you. We wanted to
here.
offer something to the industry that was unique, but also like, again, price competitive. So we created this stack leather pant. It was black with the pony stripe, with the gunmetal stripe, and it was like something unique, and it was also something like that was created to like for like celebration, like when people want to pop out, when people want, you know what I'm saying, when they got that energy, when they want to birthday energy, popping out energy, you want to flex on your ex energy, like all that energy, that's the clothes that we make, you know what I'm saying? So like that's the energy behind our brand is to like really like embody your true superhero self through clothes. Like you know what I mean? Like when you wear a good fit, it make you feel like you could talk to anybody. You could bag any shorty. You could do
Mm,
anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's the energy that we want to, people to feel when they put on our garments. So yeah, we've been around, we've been together and creating for 3 seasons or
good.
3 years. We actually just opened, really proud. We just opened a showroom, studio space and design studio in Dumbo, right under
Oh
the
wow.
Manhattan Bridge.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
you can see the Manhattan Bridge. You can see the World Trade, One World Trade. You can see Brooklyn Bridge. Like it's a beautiful thing. And we're also gonna start our workout division of Kill Off Season called Pack of Wolves. Because us
Mm,
coming together, you could do amazing things by yourself, but when you come together as a pack of wolves,
yeah,
you're
yeah. Big,
unstoppable. Everybody's
big.
resources, everybody's mind, everybody's
Yeah,
energy. So we started Pack of Wolves, which is going to be a running and calisthenics collective. So again, if you don't run, we will do some push-ups, we do some pull-ups, but we just activate in our community because this is our part of our lifestyle. Like me and Steve, we run, we do calisthenics. So we just want to
hmm,
incorporate that into our brand because a lot of our community that our wolf pack, they also into the same type of thing. Like so that's the whole energy behind the brand. We're really excited. We're slated to do a presentation in September. So
hmm.
excited about that.
You gonna be presenting it like at Fashion Week or something like that? You kind of do
Yes,
your second.
sir. Yeah, September
Oh,
fashion.
y'all getting money. Y'all getting money. Y'all getting money.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
do it, man. We gotta do it.
No, no, that's that's beautiful, man. You make me like a proud dad. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. For sure.
From where I met you to now is incredible. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
It's incredible. And before we run, tell me about the Met Gala.
Which one though? Which one? We got
Well, tell me
2018 and we
about
got
how many have you worked on?
I've done two. So I did
Tell me about
2018
both
with
of them.
Ferg.
Tell me
Yeah,
about
yeah.
both
So
of them.
so Ferg 2018, it was wild, but it was in the moment it was I knew how great it was gonna be. But so that theme 2018 was Heavenly Bodies, right? And Ferg is a hood pope. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, I had this I think I had a picture of it. This mood board of like, Pope robes and Pope hats and because he's the hood Pope. I'm like, yo, this is perfect. And he's like, yo, I love all of this, but I just want to look like a handsome black man. And I was like, I feel you. So he didn't want to go too costumey. He wanted to he's like, yo, this is my first one. I just want to look handsome and presentable and like
Gotcha.
dapper, debonair, dapper. So I'm like, all right, I totally understand. So I wound up working with Dapper Dan, and this is when he was at the Gucci house, and he had the store on Lenox, he
Okay.
had the haberdashery on Lenox.
Yeah.
So Dapper Dan and myself worked together. Ferg goes on tour, so we are unable to do any
No,
fittings,
because
nothing.
he's not home.
He's not home. So Ferg lands the day of the Met Gala. He comes to the haberdashery, the Gucci Dapper Dan haberdashery on Lenox. He
Mm-hmm.
does one fitting. He loves it. He's like, we have to do some tweaks. Ferg comes back, goes home, takes a shower, comes back. He gets dressed for the Met Gala at Dapper Dan's studio on Lenox.
Wow.
We leave from there to the Met Gala. This is unheard of. Usually you do like a few fittings,
Yeah.
but it was
And
so
even when
seamless.
you get dressed at the hotel close by, and then you uptown.
But it was beautiful though. It was beautiful. He was sitting at the Tiffany table. He wore their most coveted rock, the bird on the rock, like
Wow.
Beyonce's worn it, Jay-Z. It's crazy. And we met their representative on Madison. She handed me the bird on the rock in a box. I take it out, I put it on his lapel as we drive into the Met Gala. He gets out and just wows the crowd. But it was beautiful just for me because being from Harlem, working with Ferg for so long, working with Dapper Dan, icon, legend, fashions, guru, a great mind. It was just like the synergy was so perfect, you know what I mean? So that moment was like, that's one of my proudest fashion moments. Just working with my friend and client, working with Dapper Dan, and just that Harlem and everything happening in Harlem. It's crazy. It was beautiful.
I can't even imagine what it was like when Ferg walked out of there, out of that spot and onto Lennox, like dressed. I'm sure it was just like, oh my gosh, it was amazing.
It was beautiful, man. Beautiful. That was the time. And then to fast forward 2025, I worked with one of my clients, Noah Lyles, the fastest man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We worked with Tom Brown, and shout out to Tom Brown. They were super great team to work with. I mean, we in a fitting and they got 10 people, the head designer, they got the PR, they got everybody, like they got different tailors. They not playing. Their attention to detail was crazy. In the case of Noah Lyles, he wanted to stay on theme, which was super fine tailoring. Yeah, tailor for you. Black Dandy, and he wanted to stay on theme, and he just wanted to show up and show out. So he was partnered with Anna Corey. Anna Corey is a women's jewelry designer. So
Okay.
she came up with some beautiful pearls, and it was crazy. It was a great time, and that too came together last minute. But he came out stepping. He was super happy, super proud. And yeah, that's another one of my most famous fashion moments, or most iconic fashion moments, because just to work with like the fashion house Tom Brown, hit that Met Gala stage 7 years later was just like with a different client, fastest man ever. After the Olympics, is just like it was beautiful, man. It's always a joy and a time, and I'm just happy to be in this space. To be honest.
Did you hit any after parties?
Nah. So I've always been like I'm gonna go home and eat a good meal type of
No,
person.
I respect
I
it.
got a lot of invites, but I was just like, after the week that I had, or the last 5 days that I've had, I don't want to party with y'all. I'll party with my people, but I'm gonna give me a good meal
Yeah.
and get some rest and watch something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
after you put in that much mental, physical, and spiritual labor, it's just like I don't got nothing for nobody else. I'm gonna just retreat back to
Yeah.
my space. Hell yeah.
That's cool. That's cool, man. So what's next?
What's next? Oh man, we spoke about kill-off season. We're gonna do our presentation in September. That's gonna be epic.
Can't
I'm
wait.
excited for that. We got Ferg Flow August 14th. I'm super excited for that. I'm gonna be leading a 5K starting and ending in Marcus Garvey Park that morning. And that's gonna segue into the various events ending in the concert, the Ferg headlining. What else we got coming up? New York City Marathon 2025. This is gonna be my 12th consecutive New York City Marathon.
Wait. Tell me a little bit about we haven't talked about. Tell me a little bit about the experience of running the New York City Marathon.
Yo,
Yeah.
I say it like this. I feel like it's the biggest block party in the world. It goes from each borough, starts in Staten Island on the Verrazano, and it ends in Central Park. But I feel like even if you don't run, you gotta tap in and cheer. You could sponsor a runner, you could do charity work, but it's just like the whole city comes together and the whole world really, because it's like so many people from across the world come to run or to cheer like their family member or their loved ones on. So it's just like the energy that day is like it's so amazing, so beautiful. But yeah, running through the city is like that's why I keep doing it, because I like to consider myself the ultimate New Yorker. So I keep on doing it because I love New York that much. And it's a hard course. So I wanna like really feel like I crushed it. You know what I mean? Like I have a track later on today and this humidity and this heat. And I'm excited because I know that this work now is gonna pay off Sunday, November
Yeah,
2nd. You know what
November.
I'm saying? So
Yeah.
but it's the greatest time anymore. Again, if you can't run it, or if you can run it, run it. If you're unable to, definitely come out and cheer. It's super motivational, from like the grandmas and the grandpas to like the people in need of special need people, to like it's just like wow, it's a beautiful time, beautiful time.
Yeah. Like I said, I used to go out there on Fifth Avenue and see them running
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Harlem and be like,
That's when people washed. Fifth
whoa.
Ave is tough,
Yeah, Fifth Avenue was real tough.
and it's a hill. Woo.
That's the thing about New York. People don't realize it's way more hilly than people think, because there'll be a lot of slim inclines. They're not like this, but it's like, yo, you used to running up the slim incline for like a minute. It's like, oh, I'm still going uphill, you know?
That's a
Yeah.
fact. Fifth Ave
Yeah.
is like a steady incline,
Yep.
and then you're in the park. It's an incline. It's like, oof, it's tough.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a good
Suicide
time.
Hill in the park and all that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a good
This
time.
was fun, man. I had a good time, brother.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me on here. And again, you an icon, you a legend. You supported me in my career. You didn't even hit on the Bun B, UGK,
Let's
all
talk
that type
about
of
it.
jazz.
Let's talk about it real quick before we go. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, working with Shanique, shout out to Shanique Peru. She was styling Pimp C at the time. And the people don't even I even spoke to Bun about this, but people don't even realize like I'm in the credits as Pimp C's last like stylist for, I think it was Underground Kings. I forgot what album it was, but their last
The
album.
Underground Kings was the last album.
Yeah, where he wore the fur. Shanique couldn't make it, and she sent me to Houston, and he had the fur on with the hat, and Pimp was super cool, and yeah, that was historic. And I also worked on Too Short, Blow the Whistle video.
That's right, in Oakland. I forgot.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
I forgot about you on that set too.
Yep. So like
two iconic videos too. Yeah, we go back.
Facts.
That's and 2 smash hit records.
Facts.
That still Blow Whistle plays now like it's new.
My mom, 80th, she like, make sure you play Blow the Whistle. And you know what I'm saying? Like, because it got the energy, like,
it's got
the energy.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So we go back.
Man. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of everything you're doing, man.
I
had to have you on the show. I was like, I gotta give my man Quaz on the stun a little bit. Talk about his fashion and his journey, you know?
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
Cool,
thank you for having me, and continued success for you. I'm gonna definitely be tapping in.
Please.
The show is dope.
Thank you, man.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I got a lot of good people lined up. So I'll keep you posted on everything. You know?
Nice. Yes, sir.
You can catch Mixed and Mastered on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you get your podcasts. Hit that follow button, leave a review, and tell a friend. I'm your host, Jeffrey Sledge. Mixed and Mastered is produced and distributed by Merrick Studios.